Mood for a soulful jazz experience, the one-act musical Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill opens tonight at Cygnet Theatre. Joining us live is local artist Carol Foreman to tell us more about the show. Carol, thanks so much for joining us.
You're so welcome, and I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, so this is called the story of Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill, but
Yes.
people may not know who Lady Day is.
Well, I will tell you, Lady Day was the nickname for Billie Holiday, one of the greatest singers, jazz icons, I believe, of the 20th century. And so Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill is actually based on an event that was related to the playwright. A friend of his had gone to see Billie Holiday during what would be one of the last performances of her life. So this play takes place at Emerson's Bar and Grill, which is an actual place in Philadelphia, and she was performing for only about 13 people. In this little bar outside of New York City. So the play is that it's an intimate night where you, the audience, have a one-on-one experience with Billie Holiday and her pianist.
That is so fun. It's like they're living back in the day with Billie.
That is the idea. You're transported back to that night of March 1959 to witness her. And it's one of the late night shows. It's called the Midnight Ramble, where sometimes the performers would get a little salty.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
And so she's talking about experiences in her life, you know, being a musician. You know, we know about the iconic Billie Holiday as having issues with drug addiction. We know her as being a performer during Jim Crow America. But in spite of all of these challenges, we're celebrating her and her life as a triumphant spirit. In spite of all of these obstacles, still here we are 60 years later, still talking about this woman because of the music that she left us, her iconic voice, and she was a master storyteller. Anna, and it's really a joy to have that experience with the audience and to sing these songs that made her famous.
And you'll be telling those stories in her voice. In her voice.
So, well, we were really careful and very mindful of not wanting to do an imitation of Billie Holiday. I mean, first of all, you know, how could you do that justice, but really wanted to communicate the essence of her spirit.
Her point of view.
Yeah, and her artistry. So I worked with a vocal coach by the name of Denise Woods. She was the vocal coach on a film called The Underground Railroad, and she had all of these archives of these enslaved peoples from Virginia. And Billie Holiday in our play talks about living with her great-grandmother, who was an enslaved person, and she speaks with that dialect, and I realized the dialect of these people had the same vocal placement as Billie Holiday. And then I worked with a wonderful singing coach, Michael Scott Harris in Los Angeles, who helped me with the vocal placement so I could replicate her style and intonation, so to pay homage to that.
This sounds so special. It starts Friday night. Do we have time to tell one story about the significance of the gardenias in her hair?
Oh, sure, we do. Well, as most of these iconic legends come about, it came about when she was styling her hair with a curling iron. You know, those little oops moments that you have that you see on TikTok these days.
Yes.
Well, she went to the hat check girl in the club, and the young lady happened to be selling gardenias. So she helped her put the gardenia in her hair, and the legend of Lady Day was born. Yeah.
And she wore those in
she wore those, yeah. She wore them for most of her performances in her life.
Okay, so we have just a few seconds left. The show kicks off Friday night.
Actually, tonight. We're in previews this evening, and our official opening is on Friday, the 27th, and we run through February 18. And people can get tickets at Cygnet Theatre, theater with an R-E.com, or they can go to the box office in Old Town, which is at 4040 Twiggs Street in Old Town.
It sounds like it's going to be so much fun. We will put a link so that you can get your tickets now through February 18th.
And they're going fast.
They're going fast.
They
okay.
are.
Thank you so much,
You're
Carol.
so welcome,
We appreciate
Anna.
you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.